welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, bankrupt once again by Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
And Jimmy brought us 21. You guys saw it earlier on the channel against another 21 deck. So yeah, there's buttons, stuff in the description. But Jimmy, get into the profile. Before that, let's look at these custom tokens. And I see you put me in the front.
Yeah, of course, because I mean that's my favorite person is Bancroft. But shout out to Bancroft for these beautiful tokens. We got Jake, fan favorite. We got old Bancroft. I like when you put them like this. It looks like they're talking to each other. And then we got old Nick. This might be my favorite one. He's just looking all cute and shit. And then we got me and Tanner from the Halloween party when I dressed up as Tanner. All thanks to Nick. Nick told me to do that. It was not because of mean-spiritedness. So I'm playing 21. You might have the misunderstanding that I'm actually a fan of this character. I kind of fucking hate this character. But this mat was done by my girlfriend. I told her to draw any character she wanted. She chose 21. If you've seen Chase's mat, she also done that one. But she let him choose instead of just giving me this. But I thought 21 was a really interesting deck, and so I decided I would jump on it and see what I could do with it. And I'm actually really enjoying the way this deck plays. It's a little what's the word? It's a little lackluster against colors that aren't blue or green, but in the blue or green matchups, this deck just runs wild. You get to do some like really degenerate shit. But I still like the way the deck runs. We got the leader, front side, permanent, can't activate extra cards, and you cannot play battle cards by skill. That errata is important because the text on card basically says that you cannot attempt to activate, but with the new errata you can do stuff like baby ape and stuff like that because you fulfill as much as possible. Activate main, pick up a life, search top 5 for a droid, awaken at 4 or less. You do not have an alternative awaken, but it's fine, you can pick up your own life. Hybrid. The backside is where it gets a little fun. You still have you can't play battle cards by skill, but you can activate extras. And then the permanent that you can use your Android 21 Z battle cards and your opponent's battle cards and Unison as energy to pay the cost for your Android 21 cards, specifically the Android 21 cards, which we run a critical mass of the cards, so that's no worries. And then activate main is kind of crazy. Draw 1 card, and then you restand 3 cards on your opponent's field, ignoring barrier. And the tapping for energy, that's a game mechanic, so barrier does not interact with that. So you basically just get to play with your opponent's barrier cards no matter what. Really unique is what drew me to this. I've been having a lot of fun playing around with this. We'll move on to the Z deck. We run 2 of the Name a Piece. Comes out for 2 energy, 1 Z energy. Z stack, a blue battle card. You're going to Z stack into the 4-drop. We'll get into the 4-drop in a moment. You can pick up a life off the auto, and then you can tap 1 at the beginning of your opponent's main phase to play a 4-drop 21 from under this, so you Z-stack the 21. Unique blocker Z-stack for 2, and you can use one of your opponent's battle cards for Z-stack, and that is relevant because you can activate main and gain a keyword skill off of that. There is some like weird rulings, and the way that I've rolled it at the shop and the way we are playing it right now about Z-stack. Z-stack is worded oddly that it only triggers when played from the Z deck. So when played from under Android 21, it doesn't hit the trigger. I don't know if that has been changed. I haven't seen anything new on it, but the last I heard about this card, you do not get the Z-stack trigger when playing from under in the Name of Peace. And then some generically good blue ones: Vegito, Beerus, and Cell. Shouldn't need to explain these, but it is important that you can Z-stack these. So you can get the triple strike off of Vegito or the barrier. The barrier is super nice with these because these cards are energy as well. So it's important to note. Moving on to the main deck, we got 4 of the upside down bitch. Top 5 at the end of your opponent's next turn, you play a clone token. That is so easy to forget. If you're playing this deck, I would suggest bringing a die and just setting it on top of your deck to remind you of your pending autos. And then auto, when you combo with her, you will spawn a clone token on your opponent's field. that is playing a battle card by a skill. So you have to do it on your opponent's turn. You can't do it on your turn, which is a little unfortunate, but it is something to note. We run 2 of the Brilliant Ideas. This card kind of overperformed all night, so it's probably going to go up in a later list. But auto, when it's played at the end of your opponent's next turn, you spawn 2 clone tokens, and then activate main, you can pop a clone token to KO one of your opponent's battle cards, or give your leader card plus 5k in crit. Super versatile, very nice. Plus, it's a specified 1 cost, so something that you'll run into a lot in this deck is you find yourself tapping a lot of specified energy because you're playing against yellow or red or black. But in the blue and green matchups, you can still use your opponent's battle cards to pay the specified. So this is nice since it's 1 specified. You could tap 2 of your opponent's battle cards of any color plus just 1 energy. So she's essentially a 1-drop. So super, super nice. For the 4-drop run 3 Wavering Wills. This card is fantastic against Counter Window 2. If your opponent's playing a lot of battle cards by skill, because you can choose to... she is a specified 3, so you can tap 3 energy on your side plus the battle card that they played by skill to tap down, and she's a blocker. If it's played on your opponent's turn, if you play it for the counterplay, that is, you draw a card, and then if it's played on your turn, she'll restand at the end of the turn. So this one's probably one of the weaker of the 4-drops, but I still like it just because, at least at my locals, there's a lot of battle cards being played by skill. 3 totals. It's a specified 2 cost. That's the reason that I run at a high number. I see a lot of lists not really abusing this card. I think this card's kind of crazy. Deflect Double Strike. It draws you 2 cards on play, and then you play a clone token at the end of your opponent's next turn. But the reason that I run it is because of the specified 2. It's just a 2-drop draw 2 in most cases. Absolutely fucking snapped. This card is fucking crazy good. Full power counter. 25k Double Strike. 3 specified cost, 1 being green. Counter attack does not negate the attack, but that doesn't matter. Free energy, because it does not have energy exhaust. And then on play, it bottom decks something annoying barrier and puts your opponent on probably one of the nastiest floodgates that we've ever seen in the game. They have to pitch a card from hand and Z energy to attack with non-leader cards. This card's just insane. For the value you get off of this card, this is what makes the deck really tick. And what really drew me into playing this deck, because this is one of the nastiest floodgates we've ever seen. Moving on. 1 Scholarly Gambit. I don't think this card's needed at all. If you're looking at the price of this card and thinking, I don't want to spend the money on it, just don't spend your money on it. It's a nice counter that doesn't have green text on it, but you don't get to play it for its activate. You have to tap 4 for it, which again is specified 2, so at worst is going to be a 2 cost for you. But just don't buy this card if you don't need it. I think this card is amazing in the good 21 list, the starter deck one. Moving out of the 4-drops. 2 Bewitching. This card is just super lackluster. I did not play it once tonight. I saw it all of my games, but just never touched the field. It's a unique double strike blocker. It does have revive and it does restand. I don't ever see myself playing this card. You can probably cut it completely or just run it like as a one of in case you happen upon it in a weird situation. 2 Bad Omens. This card is crazy in the deck. It's specified 2. So most of the time you're going to be paying it for 2 and getting a burn and removal. I mean, you do have to pitch an energy, but who cares? This card is just gross. It's so gross. You don't get to play it by its skill. You're going to be hard casting it, or you're going to be playing it on your opponent's turn with Android 16. But this card is fantastic in this list. 4 of the 8-drops. Deflect, Dual Attack, Double Strike. Blows up the field on entry. Crazy. Auto, your opponent activates a counter. They have to discard 2, and at the end of the turn, you untap 5. Like, why is all of this on one card? It is insane. This could be 3 separate cards, and they would all be good. But you do have to tap 8 for it. You do have to tap specified at 5. Usually not a big deal because you're going to get that. You're going to get those energy back at the end of the turn, and this card does way too much. Plus, it's a free combo as well. All right. Next up, we got the Android 16. You can probably go up on this if you want, so you can see it more often. Arrival for 4, 2 blue, 2 green. He is a big double striker. Most of the time, like, I like just playing this to just kill my opponent on their turn off of a bad omen. You search your deck for an Android 21, add it to your hand, then you get to play it. You can play the Secret Rare off of this because it is a 4-drop in hand. Spoiler alert, we're running the 21 Secret Rare in the 21 deck.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I do like this card. It's just you can't play it on your turn, so it's a little sacky if you draw into it in a time that you don't, on your turn when you want to see a battle card you can play. 3 Measureless Strengths. Free energy, Nor's Energy Exhaust. I have not boarded this card once. You're just using it for energy or pitching it for its top 5 search effect. Almost all of my games today, I've opened 2 of these, and I charge one and just pitch the other one to search and, get my hand set up for the rest of the game. You can go like 1 deeper on this, but I wouldn't recommend it. You only need to see really 1 or 2 the entire game. For our Unison lineup, run the Android 13. Plays for free by popping a token, and this is a Unison, so it gets around the battle card restriction. +2, give you a leader card, +5, and then you can't be attacked by your opponent's clone tokens. And then -4 for double strike, +10, or +11 because he's a 14k base. And then the one of Boo Unison, this is post-ban. We just instate our ban list as soon as it pops up. The one Boo Unison, again, I've seen it most games. I never really boarded it. I never felt the need to. Super combo lineup, 2 Zeno. You do top deck energy. So this is just to pick something up out of your energy if you really need it. Also, it's an untap. And speaking of untap, we do run 2 of the Droids Unisons. It is searchable. And there are cases where this is actually going to be pretty useful, especially like playing Arrival 16. I went back and forth on running this or the Android 18 to make my opponent bottom deck 1. I will say that if I had the Android 18 to bottom decks, I would have won my last game. And but unfortunately, this is what I drew into. So take that as you will. I might end up switching these out for the 18 Unison or 18 Super Combo that makes my opponent bottom deck. For our counters, I did go really heavy on the extra cards. I do think that it can come back to bite me because you're not able to activate them on the front side. So this number will definitely go down eventually, but this is just what I ran tonight. I did kind of just throw this deck together last night. So this card is just kind of crazy for the deck. You negate, untap an energy, and then spawn a clone token. And then if your life is at 4 or less, you can have an alternate cost. Really solid. Just being able to... Anything that can spawn a clone token to give you more energy is really, really nice. Especially at the negate speed. 2 beans. 2 demage was not really relevant all night. I might even consider going to a 4th on the technique, but it is nice. And then 2 blocker tokens. They're just good. So I probably will end up cutting down on this. I can see myself cutting beans and then maybe both the D-Magics and just have this as my extra card lineup since they are dead on your front side. 2 more counters. Android 17, card's crazy. Incredible card. You can definitely go up on this as well since it is a battle card and you can play it on your front side. And then 18s. Android staple. Card's amazing. Definitely run it. Turning. It's turning. And then the 21 Secret Rare. Shout out to Bancroft and Fluff for letting me borrow this tonight. It's the only card I'm missing from the list. this card is just absolutely busted. It's a 4-drop while it's in your hand and on the battle area, but everywhere else it's an 8, so you can't search it off of like the 5 or less androids. And this card is just so gross when it comes down because it will target the entire field ignoring barrier and place them under her. She does have protection. You can just place cards from under her to save herself. But the just absolute best part about this is that for every card chosen, not cards that went under her, but every card chosen, you will get to top deck a life. Up to 2, which is I would like to see something goofy where I can gain like 8 life in a turn. That would be too busted, but most of the time you're gonna be getting the 2. If this is already in your hand when you activate 16, you can play this on your opponent's turn, blow up their field, and then just gain life. And that just feels so gross when it goes off. But this card is amazing if you're playing Android 21. If you have the money to get this, get this. If not, just play Baby Hatch, because Baby Hatch is still just completely busted. But if you can get your hands on this card, this is 100% the secret rare for 21.
Yeah. Awesome. Appreciate it, Jimmy. Like always, there's buttons, links. Check them out. Bye.